All right, this is my favorite part personally, and I'm not saying that only because my colleague Rachel Newberry from Riot is going to take over from me and let me relax a little bit. But before we jump in, I do want to make one just quick shout out, because earlier Dan had mentioned how there's this repurposing of some of the old analog television that's now being used for digital broadcast, for emergency services, for data casting, so on. Folks in the audience may not be aware, but a lot of the fundamental research and testing of these new technologies, it's happening right here in North Carolina. PBS North Carolina, a company called Device Solutions and the Wireless Research Center have been collaborating along with a couple of federal agencies on developing out this technology and doing data casting for public safety, and this idea of being able to see it on any device, whether it's a TV, a tablet, a phone, whatever, to get this kind of emergency data and to arm first responders, not just with a simple page, or maybe that little scroll bar across the bottom of the television, but real data-rich things, video and so on. And so those projects are happening right here. If you'd like to learn more, I can certainly connect anyone to Device Solutions, to the Wireless Center, and those others. So it's really cool to hear, from DHS the importance of these things, and then know, well, this is stuff that's growing right here in our backyard. That's entrepreneurship, in my view. It's creating and solving problems that haven't been solved before, and doing it with emerging technologies. That's really what Riot focuses on, is that kind of work. And so with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Rachel Newberry. Rachel runs our accelerator programs and has pulled together, I think, some pretty interesting startup stories for today. So Rachel, I'm going to hand it to you.
Thank you, Tom, and good afternoon, everyone. Rachel Newberry, I lead innovation programs at Riot, and this is also my favorite part of the day, because one of my favorite things, period, is introducing folks to awesome innovators that are solving problems in new and interesting ways. So one thing to keep in mind throughout this session, we're going to introduce 5 startups. And many of you in the room may be potential customers or partners for these growing companies. So please find them after, give some advice, offer a connection, and maybe even partner with them or become a customer. That is really what we're here to facilitate today. So first, to give a little bit of background on the Riot organization. Riot was founded about 10 years ago to help folks to recognize and capture data economy opportunities. So we initially focused on IoT, which now we just talk about companies that are leveraging data in interesting ways. And we do a number of different things, ultimately to pursue economic development, job creation, company growth in emerging technology sectors. My name again is Rachel Newberry. I really have spent my career in facilitating innovation, in building programs that help entrepreneurs to not only get off the ground, but to build real long-term sustainable companies. And over time, I've also started to support corporate and government innovation teams with starting new projects that are maybe in an area that's not part of their core business, but they need a chance to think like a startup, to connect to partners that can make new things happen, and just pursue really excellent innovation, which I think that has been a theme throughout today, and something that Riot is really passionate about facilitating. To give you a sense of the Riot network, this is really our extended team. We essentially run an industry consortium of folks that are interested in connecting with each other, pursuing new business, meeting customers in this data economy space. And so we see ourselves as really dot connectors in this ecosystem, and again, helping people to meet each other and do business. And smart cities is an area that is really rich and interesting. To zoom in a little bit from that big network of logos that you just saw on the screen, these are our government partners. So more and more over the years, we've started to collaborate with the public sector to pursue innovation. And so we work with folks in a number of different ways, but maybe the 2 categories that I'll call out today, we especially support developing entrepreneurial ecosystems. So communities that are on the rise, they come to us to help them to grow new businesses in their communities. And then the other area that we commonly support government is with smart cities innovation. So helping projects to get going. We can be a neutral facilitator. We can help connect in the right technology partners or the right entrepreneur partners, which is where I really thrive, is helping you all connect to folks that you'll see here on stage in a moment to do really exciting, forward-thinking things together. A little bit more about the Riot community. To kind of really summarize, we are a convener. We run somewhere on the order of 75 events per year to help folks to network in the technology space or to learn more about emerging technologies. We run programs. So I run a startup accelerator, again, that also supports corporate and government innovation teams. And then we also are just network operators and those dot connectors. So this is a kind of good overview picture of all the things happening in the Riot network. I would never miss an opportunity to talk quickly about our Startup Accelerator program. We support startups at no charge. We do not take equity in the companies that we support. Our goals are really economic development, job creation, helping communities to support entrepreneurs with building sustainable businesses. So we run this intensive program in multiple communities now. If you know an entrepreneur or if you are working internally at a large established entity on a new innovation project, please keep in mind that we've got an application open today that closes mid-December, and we will be kicking off this cohort, which is our 17th cohort of this program in Wilson, North Carolina in early 2024. So really excited about that. We do have a government innovation team that has committed to join this cohort and would love to see some folks in the room join them. With that, I would love to take an opportunity to thank NC IDEA. We've got a couple great representatives. NC IDEA has been an amazing partner to the Riot organization and has also come alongside us and supported a lot of entrepreneurs together. Barry Ryan, I would love to have you just pop up to the stage and say hello and talk a little bit about the awesome work that you guys are doing.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Wow, okay. That applause was for Rachel. Really pleased to be here. Big thanks to John and Heather and the whole City of Raleigh team for hosting this event. Thanks to Riot, Rachel, Tom, and the whole team for having us be a part of this pitch competition this afternoon. Really, my favorite part is when you get to see the entrepreneurs come up and share their innovative solutions that they're doing and leading to make change in our community and bring economic impact to the communities where they work and live, and that's what this is all about. And by the way, hopefully there'll be some good connections that happen here in addition to the prize money. So really excited about that. We'll tell you a little bit more about NC IDEA in just a moment, but before I forget, I want to do the thing that I'm holding in my hand, so I don't forget that. Next week, NC IDEA, we have our big annual conference, the NC Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Summit. It will be here in Raleigh, November 13 through 15. It is not too late to sign up. And I have here some steeply discounted coupon codes here. There are also some on the table right outside that door over there where you can grab the QR code, get online, go register, or share it with someone you know that might be interested in the event. This coupon code is discounted steep enough, to quote my friend John from Dual Boot, to say that it's even worth it if you can only come one day. So really take advantage of the opportunity to be a part of the summit next week, and that's my commercial. Now for the infomercial about NC IDEA. NC IDEA, we are a private foundation based in Durham, serving entrepreneurs in the ecosystem that surrounds them statewide in North Carolina. We work with entrepreneurs in a variety of different ways. We are most known for the grants that we make to entrepreneurs by providing them with non-dilutive funding. It's not free money, but it's about as close as you can get. And it's designed to help those entrepreneurs take their business to the next stage in their innovative venture and give them access to that critical capital that they need as they're scaling their ventures. We do have 2 NC IDEA grantees pitching this afternoon, but we will be completely unbiased and a good opportunity for me to mention my colleague Kate Wiggins, who's here from our programs team, serving as a judge, and really excited to be part of the pitch competition this afternoon. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Rachel. Thank you very much from the NC IDEA team, and we're really excited to be a part of this event.
Thanks so much, Barry. NC IDEA is really, if we think about this event today, is talking about collaboration across the public sector in the region. NC IDEA is really fostering the same mindset across the entrepreneurial support landscape in North Carolina. So yes, Riot will be out at the event next week, and we're looking forward to it, and please join us there. The theme today really has been regional collaboration, and we've had great representation here across North Carolina. But I also want to zoom out and recognize a couple of national and international friends that are here with us today. So NASA Langley Research Center and the Bird Foundation, who helps facilitate innovation between the U.S. and Israel. They're both present, which I think is really a testament to the exciting work that's happening here in this ecosystem, and we're attracting and leveraging national and international partners as well. So if you'd like to learn more about them, they do have tables outside, so stop by and say hello. All right, and now I'm so excited to introduce you to our esteemed judges panel for the afternoon. We have Mark Rogoff from Dell, and Mark is also a mentor for the Riot Accelerator program. Kate Wiggins is with us from NC IDEA, and Dave Kaiser, thank you for being here, from the Department of Commerce at the state level. So I would love for each of you to just come up to the stage, say hello, and introduce yourselves. Come on down. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Delighted to be here. My name is Kate Wiggins. I am Program Support Manager for NC IDEA. As Barry mentioned, we are best known for our grant programs, but we also have some programming that goes along with that, particularly for the early stage proof of concept companies. We also deploy entrepreneurial mindset programming throughout the state, and I'm very excited to see all of you pitch this afternoon. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Kate. Hi, everybody. My name is Dave Kaiser. I'm with the Office of Science, Technology, and Innovation at the North Carolina Department of Commerce. We're known for our grants program as well. It's the SBIR and STTR Incentive and Matching Program. If you're not familiar with SBIR and STTRs, there's a great learning session taking place next Tuesday at the NC IDEA Ecosystem Summit. It's not too late to register for that. Or you can email me at any time. Our solicitations for the grant program will be opening hopefully next week. So stay tuned for more, and look forward to hearing from the pitches.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Rogoff. I'm the guy with the cartoon. And I wish I had some sort of grant that I could offer, but I don't. I'm sorry about that. I'm interested in startups. I enjoy the startup land. I definitely enjoy working with people and mentoring them along the way. It's a well-known secret. When you mentor somebody, you learn something new. I love learning, and that's why mentorship has been a challenge and a privilege of mine, and I wish to keep on doing it, and I wish everybody did it more. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. Now, let's jump into it. Here's the run of show for the afternoon. We have 5 diverse startups that will share their stories and talk about the problems that they are solving. Each of them will give a 5-minute pitch, and then we'll have a few minutes reserved for Q&A. Q&A is reserved for our judges panel exclusively, but the audience will have an opportunity to participate here. Keep this in mind as you're listening to these pitches. At the end, we're going to use our awesome live poll survey tool for the audience to select their favorite pitch of the day. And then judges will deliberate and also choose the judge's choice winner, who will win the $1,000 pitch prize. So we're really excited about that. Both the audience popularity vote and the judge's choice pitch prize winner will be announced in closing remarks today. So stick around for that. Yeah, with that, I think we're ready to rock, right, guys? So first up, I would love to welcome to the stage a company that is taking a very hands-on and unique approach to digital equity, and they are really growing their presence here in North Carolina. So Bill Causey with Catabasis, please come on down.
Awesome. Yeah, first I'd just like to thank everybody, the sponsors, NC Idea, Riot, City of Raleigh, just for giving me this opportunity. Very excited to be here. I am with Catabasis. I co-founded this with my partner, Joseph. Just first, Catabasis is a Greek term for it's part of a hero's journey. So in the hero cycle, it goes from the natural world where you have a problem to the supernatural world to get some tool or some knowledge you need to come back to the natural world to fix that. So as we're kind of doing these digital equity projects, trying to empower people to come back and fix whatever problem they have in their community. So here's a kind of a brief overview of what we're going to do. We're going to do a very quick abbreviated version of who we are as Catabasis, how we got funded, talk about our computer building camps we do with rural and underserved areas, opportunities for us to reach more students and how we might be able to establish some partnerships to accomplish that, and then ideas for using technology to support some digital equity, so talking some about the software projects that we do. So first, who we are. So I co-founded this with my co-founder, Joseph Wiggins. We lived right on the county line, Pitt County, Craven County, very far out in the middle of nowhere. And our education with digital technology always occurred from about 9:30 p.m. to however late at night because we were on a dial-up phone and we had to have that line reserved for when people were calling to order peaches that we picked that day. We had to have that line open. And then also Joseph Wiggins, Joseph's brother, Jacob, was also he was on the autism spectrum and struggled a lot with being so far removed from urban areas and resources that we really inspired to develop other resources for these areas, these very distant areas. So we were officially founded in March 2020. Right when COVID happened. So we also pivoted to doing a technology thrust of getting infrastructure out into high-need areas. We're talking to teachers that we partner with and always having a lot of students, or 4 or 5 students that just couldn't keep up with the distance learning because they didn't have the devices that they needed. So we started our free computer building camps where we get donated computers, refurbish them, have the kids build them with us, and then let them take them home so they could do their distance education. So also just to talk about kind of what we consider as digital equity. So we kind of have like 5 pillars. First is getting those devices out into the household so that they can participate. Doing digital literacy, so talking about computers, introductions to AI, internet, that type of thing. Bringing a lot of different voices to the table. So we were very much involved in working with teachers, librarians, community champions to get their voice into understanding how we can better meet their needs. Designing for learner variability is very important to us too. So we work a lot in like special education research. And then sustainability and scalability. So we very much want to make sure that these devices we're giving are affordable at this price, which is why we established this nonprofit to get them at a cheaper price point. We also focus a lot on making these projects culturally relevant. So we work in very rural areas. So we do a lot of stuff of like technology fused with agriculture. Or you can kind of see in the AI art project, we did a project with kids if they build a smart farm and then have AI art kind of generate ideas with them and create artwork. We also do this kind of an example of some of the co-design that we do. So in that agriculture game that we've developed, having kids design skins or design new attachments for their drones for how they can manage their farm. So they're thinking about how they can use that technology, but also like what is it that's relevant in their communities. And then talking a little bit about us, our expertise really is in that AI area. So Joseph has his PhD in natural language processing. We do a lot of educational games development, and then just our connections with both connections in academia and then our connections in the community, so we can be that conduit to get resources out from academia to those areas of need. I want to go briefly into our kind of camp model. So at the top, so we start with either getting computers donated or going to like government surpluses, university surpluses, getting those computers, transporting them, cleaning them, storing them, and then taking them to partner nonprofits in local communities so that we can use their facilities and connect with the people that they already have connections with to run those camps. And then at the end, the participants get to take their computers home with them to continue their education. And then on the right side is just kind of a sample agenda. So we do a lot of like Saturday camps, but we customize it to the needs of the organization. So whether it's like a 2 hours over the course of a couple of weekends or one single weekend, we very much customize it to the need. And then camp outcomes. So we do pre and post surveys, just kind of understanding our impact and how we can improve. So this chart right here kind of is the blue bars are the incoming comfortability with technology and how if they find it intimidating or their interest in STEM careers. And then the green bars are after we complete the camp. So we have a very significant statistical improvements in these camps, and we're mostly trying to establish this confidence level so that they can continue their own education, because usually the biggest hurdle that they face is just fear of engaging with the material. So we're trying to reduce that fear. And then opportunities for how we can increase these camps. So we're a 6-person company. We're very small. Our capacity to host these camps ourselves is very limited. So we want to move to kind of a train-the-trainer model so that we can, these community champions that we have good connections with, give them the support they need so that they can offer it themselves. They're not intimidated, or they have the lesson plans, all that type of stuff to run that. So at the bottom, you kind of see some of the resources that we're hoping to develop to better enable this community champions to run this. Just sourcing and transporting equipment. So we've been all over the East Coast getting these computers donated, bringing them back. And then storage is also one of the things we're trying to figure out how to better disperse where we're doing these to offer the camps. And then just in general, just continue networking, getting the word out of the work that we're doing, finding more local nonprofits that we can partner with. So if anybody in this room, if you have any connections to these resources, we'd love to talk to you afterwards about how we can partner. Going more into this train-the-trainer model, we're very much into dispersing our impact. We don't want to be the only ones doing this work. We want to enable people to do this work without us being a bottleneck in the system. So we have a couple of different initiatives developing traditional, like professional development, lesson plans, that type of stuff, but also leveraging AI to also be there to support them if they have questions and stuff. They don't always have to reach out to us. We can develop these training systems with AI systems. And then just we're kind of envisioning how we want to organize this as into a camp coordinator system. Kind of the main elements being tracking, like logistics for the components, donations. Volunteer recruitment is also very important. Coordinating where volunteers live and how we can get them to certain camps. Just calendars, lesson plan creators. So if you have 2 hours to run a camp, we can help you select a lesson plan that better fits that 2 hours. Or if you have a full day, what other type of lesson plans you can include in that. And then just helpful resources for instructors so that they can, if they're trying to learn about different type of lessons or stuff, that they can go and do their own research pre to the camp. And then last of all, talk a little bit about the software that we're developing to also support that. So digital equity, we also really want to leverage AI to train these people. So we have examples for learners and for educators. So this is called an intelligent tutoring system. So this is an AI system where it works, like you have observations, it'll interpret what you're saying or any nonverbal cues, make decisions in that with that AI, and then through the avatar do nonverbal gesturing or speaking, and then can just help better convey content knowledge. As well as this is very similar that we do for educators, but more on the professional development level. So one problem you see a lot in schools is teachers just don't have a lot of opportunity for feedback. So we do a lot of in-classroom work of using AI to understand classroom dynamics and how they're delivering information, and then giving them kind of micro lessons for here's a suggestion or two for better classroom engagement, better knowledge uptake. So we kind of trying to create this ecosystem of both hardware and software for this digital equity thrust. So that's my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Bill. Great job. Barry mentioned earlier that I am not biased to NC Idea companies, and it sounds like your co-founder has the same last name that I do. I was not aware I had a cousin named Joseph. That is not going to factor into my decision either. I just want the room to know. As you are launching this camp coordinator model that is train the trainer, paint a picture for me of the ideal partner or partner network that would be involved in bringing something like that to life.
Yeah, absolutely. So like who we're envisioning as these trainers, we work with soup kitchens, housing authorities, library systems is one that we're we'd love to like be able to train libraries. So if they want to do like a month-long digital literacy event at their system, we could have them create a profile in the camp coordinator system, log in, kind of schedule, like these are the times that we have available, these are the age ranges of the students that are coming, these are the number of volunteers that we want, and then it can just build out a lesson plan for them. It can ping us to like, okay, we're going to try to build 12 computers to get them the computers there beforehand, and then just essentially give them the lesson plans and the development materials that they need to feel confident enough to offer that. So as far as outside partners, it is those nonprofits, but then also people that have any type of computers that they want to donate, or if you want to volunteer, having people kind of create profiles, volunteer, stuff like that.
Good job, Bill. Could you speak a little bit about the camps you're doing now, how many you've done, the footprint you've got within the state or outside the state?
Yes, absolutely. So we've been doing these for about 2 years. We just hit our 250 computers distributed. We run these about once a month on average. We are trying to increase that, but we're just kind of limited by our man hours associated. This is more of we do a lot of programming during the week, so it's kind of our side philanthropic effort. We focus mostly on the I-95 corridor. We go find communities with high need, particularly in eastern North Carolina. We've gone as far west as Bertie County, east, through to the Triangle. We've done like summer schools, we've done libraries, that type of stuff. And then, yeah, so we're 250 currently, and we're trying to reach much more of kind of every once Saturday a month or something, and just keep finding these partners. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you to Catabasis. Could you hit me one slide back, please? Thanks. All right, this next company, what I really appreciate about TELUS is that, air quality is one of those things that you may not typically notice unless it becomes a problem. And TELUS is not only helping cities to establish the infrastructure to do proactive monitoring for air quality, but they also really help the public understand the public health implications of air quality. So I won't steal any more of your thunder. Carl Luft, please come on up.
All right. First, I'd like to thank Riot for the invite to pitch today, as well as all the sponsors for hosting the event. And we'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Carl Luft. I'm the Vice President at TELUS Network Sensor Solutions. We're based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and originally grew from an NSF-funded project that was aimed to creating a way to monitor air quality at the neighborhood scale with kind of an affordable price point. So the two topics that our company really relates to is both on the sustainability and the digital equity side. And just starting off with the customer need, we really have set out to, our driver really is developing a reliable, accessible way to monitor air quality and offer this data in a way that everybody can understand it, not just scientists or experts in the air quality space. The other part, is that cut off for you too? Oh. The other part is there's not a lot of localized data related to air quality monitoring. So an example of this is like Salt Lake City, Utah. We have our federal reference monitor up on the mountain next to the University of Utah. And that is not relative to what the air quality is on the lower parts that are, environmental justice type of communities. So what we've done is really gone after how we can model all of the valley, or including metrics about topography, environmental aspects, humidity, temperature, those types of things. We set out with this mission, which is to provide the highest resolution air quality metrics to thriving communities through an innovative sensor network that leverages both statistical methods and machine learning to enable an understanding of air quality microclimates. Now, this leads into our intellectual property. So our initial patents were developed at the University of Utah, and our partnership and collaboration with the University of Utah allows us the right of refusal for any air quality monitoring technology that comes out of the University of Utah. And Utah is a wonderful test bed for air quality monitoring. We have every single type of pollution event that can occur, from wildfire smoke to inversions and everything between. In addition, these patents specifically, they laid the groundwork for all of our technology that allows us to model air quality and provide really engaging visualizations in the form of like these heat maps that you see on the monitor here, as well as animated models of what these historic events may have looked like, whether it was like a dust storm or ozone, those kinds of things. So the science with air quality really gets very heavy, and so I'm not up here talking about Gaussian process models and different things like that and kind of putting everyone to sleep. We coined the term Core DI. Core DI stands for Core Data Intelligence, and it's really the backbone for all of our technology. I'll reference this now moving forward. Where do we come in? How are we different from others in the industry? And really what it is when I started looking at starting this company, you'd notice what you would expect as the data quality increases. So you see that on the x-axis. Price also increases, and that's on the y-axis. And so it leaves these two quadrants, the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant, meaning, the first quadrant is low accuracy, high price. There's a reason no one's there. But there's also an empty quadrant of low price and high data quality. And that's where we come in. We have positioned ourselves here leveraging Core DI, as well as our partnership with the University of Utah to generate research technology. This is where we kind of set ourselves apart. So our technology solution consists of localized maps, dashboards, air quality monitors, and then most importantly, data quality assurance, or Core DI. Here's an example of some of the things that we have here. So on the left side, you see a dashboard, and on the right side, you see a map that's hosted by one of our media partners in Utah. And both of these can be hosted on public-facing websites. The idea here is that anybody in these communities where we've deployed a sensor network can visit these public-facing websites and understand what their air quality is at their specific microclimate. So this could be your home, it could be your children's school, it could be your workplace, but it gives you a real-time perspective of exactly what your air quality is, where you are. So it's reflective of your actual exposure, not just a generalization across the region. This map is also available on our website. If we have a deployment in your area, you'll see this nice Core DI heat map modeling all of the air quality, considering the elevation change and those types of things. If we don't have a deployment in your area, you will see these calibrated data sources in the form of dots. And these data sources are from many partners of ours, including the EPA and some other public available data points. What we do is we run these raw data sources through our model, and then we provide these calibrated dots, basically. Now, the dashboard is where someone would go if they either have one sensor or they have a sensor deployment, and this is where you can kind of make correlations with air quality or air pollution and environmental factors like humidity and temperature, or different pollutants like maybe dust or PM10, ozone, NO2, and how each kind of play off of one another. And then this can also give you an idea of what the pollution sources are. And the bigger part of this is where your calibration factors are also housed as well. And so each calibration factor is unique to each sensor in your network and is traceable back to EPA reference monitors. Now, the monitors themselves consist of a family of what we call AirU products. So it's kind of a play on words for the University of Utah and you as a person. And our latest development is the AirU Pro. So this monitor specifically was designed on a modular platform, allows you to add and remove sensors as maybe your project requirements change or your budget requirements change. Also has full off-grid capabilities by way of solar and cellular. And Laura here shortly. So we have a goal as a company, TELUS, to model the entire United States, at least the populated regions, and apply core DI mapping across the country so everybody in the United States has an opportunity to understand what their microclimates are. And in order to do this, we want to do this by the end of next year. And in order to do this, we need to deploy more sensors, and we also need to deploy more sensor networks. So I encourage you to consider hosting an AirU monitor either on your homes or deploying a sensor network in your respective communities. That's all I have. So, oh, and I also encourage you to vote for TELUS on the audience vote. So. Oh, sorry. You can back up, please.
Thanks, Carl.
You're welcome.
I'm curious to know what kind of traffic, maybe we can use Salt Lake City as an example since you're well incorporated there. What kind of traffic do those websites that host those dashboards and maps get, and what are the kinds of events or other motivators that send members of the public to go check the air quality in their neighborhood?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So our very first hosted map that we ever launched on a public-facing website outside of our own was Salt Lake County Health Department. And Salt Lake County Health Department's average page view, so we request monthly analytics so we can help with these kind of questions, but their average page views was somewhere around 100 a month on their highest page. It was 100 views, and the amount of time spent on that page was somewhere around 15 seconds. When we launched our Air View map on their website, the first month it had somewhere around 1,500 views, and the average time spent was 9.5 minutes. So they were just ecstatic. They were like, oh my gosh, this is the most traffic we've ever seen. We did the same thing with Fox 13. It's our media partner in Salt Lake City. They're the news provider for all of the state. They have 1.5 million Facebook people, on their Facebook followers. Sorry, and anyway. So they had something similar where their highest trafficked page was about 4 times less than the page that hosted the map, and again 10 times longer. They stayed on the page 10 times longer than their highest traffic page.
Hey, Carl. Thank you very much. This is very interesting. Are you seeking investment, and what kind of investment are you looking for?
We are. So we closed the Series A in November, and we're going to launch another round of funding in January. We're calling it like a Series A.5 because it's not like a ton of money, but we're going to raise somewhere around $5 million, and it's for scale explicitly. So the earlier we raised about $2.5 million, and that was a lot of development, hiring resources, that kind of thing. Now we're finally at a place where there's very little development that needs to take place, and it's more scale. So a lot of the money will go toward hiring people that we need to support the technology and expand it across the country and then into global regions as well.
Great job, Carl. To build off Mark's question, can you talk a little bit about your deployment plans, for the next year? We've got the Series A.5 round. Where are you going next? What cities? Anything you can speak to on that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of deployments in the pipeline. The EPA has been very nice with providing grant funding for environmental justice efforts, as well as like modeling wildfire smoke and dust events and things like that. So they're just a little slower with getting the money to the partners of ours. But so we have about 10 different deployments that are in the pipeline. They started getting funded this month, actually, and we expect they'll get funded until June. It'll probably go out until about June. Some non-EPA funded projects that we have are like South Bend, Indiana, Kansas City, Missouri. There's just quite a bit all over the place. Aurora, Colorado, we just did 2 weeks ago. And each deployment is relatively different because everybody has different challenges with air pollution. So in Aurora, Colorado, they have a lot of oil and gas operations, and so they're very interested in VOCs, where South Bend is more interested in ozone and dust monitoring. But we have, to answer your question, I would expect that there's about 20 different deployments that are related to communities. We've also entered the industrial hygiene space, so we have a lot of expansion there. It's actually our fastest growing segment. And then we have a lot of consumer sales through e-commerce, where community members are getting involved in helping expand these sensor networks. The cities will deploy somewhere around 50 to 200 sensors, and then the community members will recognize that there's maybe a little gap in the heat map, and so they'll deploy one on their house, and it kind of pulls that model across their neighborhood, and everybody gets a chance to benefit from the technology. Yep.
Really quick question. Do you have competition, and what is it?
Yeah, I would say our biggest competition would be companies like Clarity, Sonoma Tech. So Sonoma Tech's been around for like 40 years, so they have a ton of credibility, but they're incredibly expensive. And then Clarity, they're very similar to other technologies that aren't, I don't want to say they don't do what they say they do, but they kind of don't do what they say they do. They do a great job with PM 2.5, and a lot of companies do a great job with PM 2.5. It's really expanding past PM 2.5 that companies have a problem with. So really anybody that's doing similar things, they're really only doing it for PM 2.5. So they are a competition in some way, shape, or form, but they're not directly competing with the market that we're after. And same with Sonoma Tech. They're very much a big box, very expensive kind of technology, where we've come in, relatively, my monitors are out there on a table and they're about this big. They're very, very small. But because there's so many of them deployed in network, we can get some really good data, up to 98% correlation with the FEMs that are in the region. So hope that answers your question. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Carl. And I'm sure we have all been in a scenario where we're enjoying a lovely day at a big public park, or we're exploring a new city and wandering, getting lost in the streets, and then you got to go, and it's difficult to find a public restroom, let alone a desirable one. So with that, Jess Heiselman, please come on up with Throne.
Awesome. Hello. I'm here with the shittiest idea. I'm Jess Heinzelman. I'm a co-founder and COO of Throne Labs. We were started in June 2020 out of boredom. So we actually don't talk about it much, but our country has a crisis. 200 million Americans use a public restroom every week, and there's only one public restroom for every 12,500 of us. And I know that's hard to get your head around those numbers and what that actually means, but on a per capita basis, that means that we as a country are tied with Botswana. And why is this? And this is where me and my co-founders started. We're like, well, to really make a solution that's going to make a difference, we need to understand why. And the drivers really are three things. Cities are spending $1 million plus to build a single bathroom, and that is primarily driven by the cost of connecting water and sewer. And it's taking years for that planning and permitting, partially because of the cost, right? If you put it in the wrong location, you've just spent $1 million for a bathroom that's not actually delivering value or serving your community. And third, even for those that get opened, cities struggle with the ongoing costs of security and maintenance. I hear all the time cities saying, well, we have restrooms, but we shut them down most of the day because we need to staff them with an attendant, or they get out of control by 10 a.m. And it's those few bad apples that are ruining a public resource for everyone. So we came up with Throne, a smart, cost-effective bathroom that can be placed anywhere and introduces accountability and data to the public restroom landscape. I know this is super exciting. I am excited. And so there are a couple of things that make us special and make this work. One is the flexible placement. We're completely self-contained. Some would call it a porta potty, but it's way more than that. But it has its own freshwater, wastewater tank, despite being really nice inside with a running water sink, flushing toilet, fully plumbed indoor feeling experience. So we can have one of these down in a couple of hours, serving the community. Two is accountability and behavioral science. So we're leveraging technology and data to keep people accountable and keep the bathrooms clean. Third, it's cost-effective turnkey solution. So we're using data to inform our servicing so that we know who to send out when. Unlike traditional bathroom operations, whether it's city teams going around and cleaning or portable sanitation companies going around and pumping on a schedule, it doesn't take into account when someone's gone in there and made a mess, and it doesn't take into account what's going on at any given moment. But we actually know that. We're also able to handle high volume use. This picture here is from Cherry Blossoms on the National Mall, one of the most popular events in our country, where we had a line out the door all day. We're also able to have cool, fun exteriors. Some cities like to work with public artists, and we actually wrap the bathroom in public art, which makes it even more fun. And then data analytics. I know I get really nerdy about this, and so wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper into that. First of all, our pro accountability entry methods. So every single use has a unique user ID attached to it. There are a couple ways that we do this. The most popular is people use their phone, which we all have on us most of the time, to enter using a text message. So the majority of people scan a QR code, it pre-populates a text message, they hit send, the door opens. If they don't have a smartphone, they can text thrown to a number. We also have our mobile app that shows the entire network. So if you need to go and you don't know where to, you can look on the app and it will actually help you navigate there. It also has the ability to see a real-time cleanliness rating that's derived from the last 3 users' cleanliness ratings. And then lastly, we have a tap card, and this is our solution to access issues. Not everybody has a phone, and not everybody has reliable access to a phone. It needs to have power, it needs to have credit, and so we work with cities and nonprofits that work with marginalized groups to distribute tap cards that can be used for entry, but still maintain that accountability. And how this plays out in real world, this is actually an actual message we received. You would be surprised that when you ask people for feedback on the cleanliness of a restroom, the level of detail that they give you. So on the 28th of August in 2022, we got a message saying there's defecation all over the urinal. Our monitors that are on anytime, our physical human monitors that are looking out after the system, our 21 sensors that are on board and collecting that real-time user feedback, they were able to shut down that throne, take it offline, so only that one person had to see that disgusting mess. We sent out our cleaners, they took care of it, and in this case it was very clear from the data which use that had happened in because of when it had been cleaned and a number of other things that we look at, and we were actually able to restrict access for that user. So next time that user came to use a throne, instead of defecating in the urinal again, they could not open the door. And then I think this part is really cool too, like just the ability to use the data that we're collecting to help with planning and making sure that bathrooms are where they're needed most. So we have 3 thrones in Fairfax, Virginia. One is right next to City Hall in the downtown area. One is in a very popular active park. And the third one is just down the street from a service center that works with unhoused people but closes at 3. They thought, let's put it down the street from that. People that are suffering from being unhoused can use it all day. Turns out no one sticks around after 3. And we were able to see after a month, after a number of attempts at educating people about the throne's location, how to use it, we were still only getting anywhere from 1 to 7 uses a day, more like average of 3 uses a day. And we were able to say to the city, hey, would you like to move this and try it at another location where it might actually provide more value to the community. And so right now we're working with them to identify that next spot. And then we are currently, because we do our own operations at this point, that plans to change that in the future, but we work market by market. We are live in the DMV, so the DC metropolitan area, as well as we just launched with LA Metro, one of the largest transit systems in the US in LA. And no matter where you go, people love us. The advocates, the electeds, and the business community that usually gets stuck with the price tag of providing, free retail bathrooms that are not equitably accessible. So yeah, I'm standing up here today excited to meet people. We are in those 2 markets now, and we're looking to partner with 2 to 3 other new markets in 2024, and we need a minimum of 15 thrones to launch in a new geography. And we actually just signed with the city of Ann Arbor this past Monday. So I guess we're now looking for 1 to 2 partners for 2024. And that is it. I will take some questions.
Thank you, Jess.
Sure.
It occurs to me that these will be very popular for events as well. Is that part of your growth strategy, or is that part of what you're offering now as well?
It's part of our growth strategy. We're still very young and lean, and so the person power that it takes to service the logistics of that, we don't have yet, but it's definitely something there is great interest in.
And each of these is a self-contained 1-bathroom unit, correct? It's not a stall.
No, it is self-contained.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Jess. Very exciting. I'm not exactly clear what the business model is. Are you looking to work with cities and effectively charge cities for this, or are you looking to have some private placement with companies, concert, and so forth?
No, so currently our model is to land with a large municipal or transit or Parks and Rec customer where they would pay. I think I was talking to a transit agency the other day, and they have $1 million set aside for the next 15 years to build a bathroom every year, which will take them 15 years to get to that. And they're like, you're telling me that next year we could have 15 down and not have the operational overhead in addition. So we're price competitive if you actually do the math, and we take the burden off of the operational staff. So it's, we're not having an additional burden of hiring more employees to then be able to service the bathrooms.
Great job. Just a logistical question. How fast was that bathroom cleaned?
That one was probably cleaned within 2 hours. So we have a service level agreement that we clean within 4 hours between the times of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. And we aim for 2.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if Riot just enjoys working with bathroom-related startups, but I'll share one more quickly. We work with a company called Intake Health that does hydration monitoring at the toilet. So just a couple weeks ago, we did a big event here at the convention center, and they actually set up their hydration sensors in the urinals in the convention center bathrooms. So unfortunately, we didn't have those to show off today, but capabilities like that integrated with drone would be pretty interesting. All right, so fourth up, Mr. John Stark with My Matter. We're staying with the waste management theme, but going in a bit of a different direction. I think waste management done well kind of fades into the background. Your trash bins on the street are accessible when needed, but not noticeably overflowing or dirty. What I think is great about what My Matter is working on is they're actually turning waste management into an interesting upside, a chance for communities to really showcase their sustainability values and kind of offer an interesting conversation point around smart technology. So with that, John Stark, please come on up.
Well, if Throne... Microphones. Well, if Throne had a shitty idea, I have a trashy one. Hi, I'm John Stark, founder and CEO of My Matter. We have a mission to increase recycling efficiency. Good. So, recycling efficiency has stalled in the United States for the last 2 decades. And with poor recycling, it has an increase in landfill use, which is the 3rd largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. Because of bad recycling, valuable material is lost to landfills. It's hard to pinpoint the number, but there's estimates between $7 and $11 billion worth of materials are being thrown into landfills in the U.S. every year. And because of rising waste management costs, many organizations are shutting down their recycling programs altogether. So our solution is the next generation of smart waste container. This device uses AI to automatically identify and sort waste at the source of disposal, creating a cleaner, profitable, and more efficient waste stream. How it works is someone discards an item into the device, it takes a picture. From there, the AI model makes a decision per the customer guidelines for that jurisdiction on how they want that waste sorted. The waste goes into, right now we've got 2 bins, and from there we have fullness detection sensors to monitor the fullness of the bins and provide feedback via our dashboard to collection crews to prevent container overflow. Additionally, we have an embedded display screen so users who throw things away, they can see if that item was trash or recycling. And then also there's a counter on there that says how many items this unit has seen and how much it's diverted from the landfill. I had a lot of fun making this slide with ChatGPT. So we have 3 major values that we're looking to add. We're saving the planet, we're increasing recycling efficiency, trash to cash. Valuable material is being thrown away into trash cans and you are losing money there. So you can recover that money, you can recover that material and properly sell it. And then data-driven improvement, from all the pictures we're taking, it is able to help improve operations and also able to supply information that can help meet ESG goals. There are millions of waste containers in the United States. In this room alone, there are 6. And these containers back here, each of them is $1,000. So you're looking at $6,000. Did I do the math right? Yeah. $6,000 of waste containers in this room alone. And most public waste containers are between $2,000 to $4,000. There are smart waste containers on the market, Big Belly Solar. You might see them in the financial district here. And those are about $6,000. We have the affordable and customizable solution. Customizable in the size, its appearance, and then also the AI decision-making process. Now, with our business model, it's a sort of a 3-step process. The first step is help organizations understand their recycling efficiency. And it's not just on a large level, but on a granular level. Each waste container that you have in this room, there is a recycling efficiency associated with it. From there, we'll provide our solution, and then we'll have continuing engagement with our data plan and service contracts. Similar to the toilets, we can help organizations tell people if you're not having your waste containers being utilized properly, move it somewhere else so you capture more waste. I really liked what Carl said about microclimate. We look at micro waste data. So we're looking at the source of disposal, and no one is doing this right now unless you're going to do a waste audit, which is costly, dumpster diving, very laborious. And we're capturing an image of everything that's being discarded, and we know what's being thrown away, when and where. This is all helping improve policy, packaging, and can be used also for improved marketing and education. Wow, that color really got messed up. It was not supposed to be yellow. Anyway, there is competition out there. There always is. But there's different levels of competition. We've got the dumb waste containers, what you see in the room here. And that's typically, they just, collect waste. There's no feedback. Then you have emerging new technology. Big Belly Solar has been around for a while, but they just focus on solar power and trash compaction. There's no sorting. There's no identification. And now we've got waste identifiers and automatic waste sorters. And we've got the fastest one out there and the most affordable solution. So we went to market in March of this year, and the organizations you've seen on the screen, we've either piloted or sold units to. I'm happy to say that we recently got our second deal with Coca-Cola Consolidated and are working on a third one to deploy into stadiums in January of this year. But these organizations all have waste containers, all have issues with their recycling efficiency, and we've been able to help them understand what their waste system looks like at that micro level. The team right now, we have a core team. There's one full-time person right now. Hi. And I've thankfully got two really great other members of the team. And we are looking to expand our team right now to get more sales and marketing and operations help. Now, we've got a great support team. Interns are wonderful. But we are really looking to expand that core team. And yeah, so I have an ask, and my ask is if you know someone or you want to improve your recycling efficiency, please contact me. I would very much like to help just improve your systems. And we're planning to launch our solar-powered version in 2024. So please use the QR codes on the screen if you want to connect with me. And thank you for your time. All right, judges, let's talk trash. All right, I'm done now.
All right, so I may have missed this earlier, and I'd like to think that I'm smart with my waste. I put recycling where it should be. Barry, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. Can you tell me what the average amount of waste being put sorted incorrectly is for the average person?
It depends. So it really just depends. If you have, most people are good with cans and bottles if they've been given that option. But then again, I've been to High Point University. They've got beautiful waste containers, but it's just a hodgepodge. The number that most people give is, conventional sorting is 30%. The graph I had at the very beginning shows that the most municipal waste has stopped around that 32-ish%. We have accuracies up to 90%, but it truly just depends on what the waste stream looks like.
Okay. And the waste is sorted, piece by piece. It's not,
Yeah. So this is one of those big challenges where we have a system right here that actually says we're adding new words on here that say one item at a time. It's best with one item at a time. However, we can take multiple items. We know people are just going to throw that armful of stuff away sometimes, and we work with our customers to say, how do you want this sorted if this happens? A great example is the University of South Carolina, because the next step of their process on their campus, they're actually doing some sorting. So they're already getting a cleaner stream from our solution, and they're able to handle some contamination, but they want to capture that value from those bottles and cans.
Thank you. Great job.
Yeah.
Thanks for your presentation, John. Can you talk a little bit about some of the complicating factors that might cause an item to be mis-sorted? And is it common practice, like it is at USC, for there to be another sort of backup sorting that happens afterward?
Yeah, so the life cycle, when we look at recycling, to simplify it, you've got containers, you've got haulers, the material recovery facilities, MRFs, and then you've got the people who will take that material and then make new products. That's really simplified. City of Greensboro, they've got waste containers along their main streets, and Republic Services comes around, picks that up, takes it to their MRF. Republic Services wants clean material to make sure that it's easier on their systems. So that's a very key component for them. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, actually, I'm curious to know if there's, and maybe this is a bit of misinformation that I have. For example, if I were to recycle this cup, but it had like the residue of like a milkshake or a smoothie still inside it, how does that work?
It depends. So really, first of all, the cup you might have, it might say, hey, this has been made from recycled material. Doesn't mean the cup is recyclable, because there could be a liner on the inside. Clemson University is a great example where they have Starbucks coffee cups, and the clear ones, they are not recyclable. Even if there is, the technical term is goop, in the container that we have, even if that's in there, it depends. In the case of Clemson, they don't want to have those cups, even if there was no goop in them, because they are not properly recyclable through their system. So there's a lot of information, because as I said, we're capturing all this data to help also educate and say, look, producers, here are areas that cannot use your product. Yep.
A lot going through my mind. There's a lot of trash in my mind right now. Thank you very much. Goop is a great term. So the things that kind of come to my mind is more related to who the true customer of your product is. There seems to be a couple of problems that you're solving. If you had to rate and just say, hey, I'm going to be concentrating on one, which one would that be and why?
Yeah, that's been the learning lesson the last couple months. We were doing a lot of work with municipalities and universities, easy to get in contact with waste managers, sustainability managers. What we're realizing now is the people who really benefit from this are really the waste haulers, such as Waste Management, Republic, GFL. There's a company called Check Sammy, and they're on-demand waste removal, and they love this solution, and we're looking to partner with them because they want to own the entire waste collection process, cradle to grave, and the data behind it as well, because they've got customers who have huge issues with having proper sorting, and Check Sammy and these waste collection companies, they want the clean material. But also Coca-Cola. I mean, they really are putting a lot of, and I guess Pepsi and the other bottling companies are putting a lot of effort into avoiding PR nightmares. So we really thought that, hey, university municipalities are great and they love it. The municipalities we worked with really want our solar powered version. But when it comes to sales cycles right now, we're focusing on the waste haulers and some also bottling companies. We're also in manufacturing plants as well, BMW. Yeah. Good? All right, thank you. Yep.
Thank you, John. Last but not least, efficiency is something that we all look for in government services. Sometimes it's not, the typical thing that we think of when we need to work with. Yeah, Dave's like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, in a panel earlier today, we talked about corporations and governments as being big and slow. Not my words, it was theirs. But that's why I think partnering with startups like Acta Solutions can help big established entities to move more nimbly and to provide great service and create great service interactions all around. Great for the employees and great for the customers. So with that, Pavani Perry, please come on up and tell us about Acta Solutions.
Y'all are troopers. I know I'm the last one, so I'll keep it quick. Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Pavani. I'm a co-founder of Acta Solutions, and we make it easy for local governments to provide consistent customer service faster and easier. Awesome. So I just wanted to introduce our team because team is so important to us. So we are the perfect team to be working with local governments on customer service. My co-founder, Ty, serves on the current Chapel Hill Town Council. I've worked in local government and economic development, and my co-founder, Andrew, is built for the public sector during his time as a software engineer at Amazon. We started as a team of 3, and now we're a team of 6, and I'm super happy to keep growing our team. So I want to set the stage for the problem here. So COVID-19 really forced governments to digitize their services. Now, who here is part of a government organization? Can I see hands? Yeah. And how many meetings have you sat in where you talk about strategic initiatives about improving the customer experience? Yeah, what does that mean? Yeah, I want to see hands. Exactly. I see like 3 hands over here from one person. And so when we talked to 200 local governments across the country during our customer discovery phase 2 years ago, we found that these strategic initiatives existed in a cloud, right? Like high above on Mount Olympus, and government departments really didn't understand how to operationalize this, right? So if I'm a permit technician or a procurement analyst or a building inspector, and a customer requires me to educate them on the process, what does it mean to deliver a smooth customer experience? And so on the flip side of that, local government staff was spending upwards of 60% reading and responding to customer inquiries, or helping customers when they came into a walk-in, or spending hours on the phone with them, unsure of if they actually got the information they needed to be successful. And so we found this incomplete and inconsistent information that's transacted during customer service interactions is frustrating for both the customer and the staff person. And that's where our solution comes in. So ACTA is a customer help desk that sits in staff's email inbox and stores a knowledge base of customer support information that staff can use to respond to customer inquiries faster and easier with consistent information. So over here to the left, you see we integrated in a solution y'all use 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, if not more. And we store all of your standard operating procedures in one place so you can easily leverage them whenever a customer calls, walks in, or emails into the department. And I run the customer success operations over at ACTA, so I'm obsessed with our customers. These are 3 of our customers and their data reports. We also provide department heads with metrics on who's spending time providing customer service. What issues do your customers have when they go through accessing one of your services? And more importantly, how much time are you saving and money are you saving by using our solution? Here's a splice of our customers: Tampa, City of Greenville, Winston-Salem, 3 very different customers. As you can see, Tampa saved in 1 year $106,000 using our solution because they increased efficiency and increased their bottom line revenue by delivering more permits during that year. And so, like I said, I'm obsessed with our customers. So the value we create for our customers is clear. The town of Morrisville was actually one of our first customers, so we're super excited to have them. And the city of Raleigh, I think, was either first or second. And I wanted to focus on 2 quotes in this slide. The first is from the Maricopa County Elections Department, which is highly contentious, but it's been a great time. So ACTA reduced our response time from 5 days to under 5 minutes. Our county has mandated that other departments use the solution because of the results we've seen from using ACTA. Our most recent customer that we've onboarded has been Long Beach, California, their Office of Climate Action. So we've helped them stand up their mulch delivery and street and tree planting programs, and has increased their operational efficiency so they can focus on higher value responsibilities. The reason I kept this slide in here is just to show you that our NPS score is 95 among our users. As you can see, it's a very easy to use solution, and the average government employee does not want to learn something that's super complicated. We do not want to put you through something that's super complicated. And so most of our sales have come from peer referrals, actually. And then here's a quick slide of a few of our customers. We have 35 across the country. I just want to pause here and see if you have any questions about how any of these customers are using these solutions, especially from government folks in the room. Also, I'd like to shout out Raleigh and Morrisville at this time. Any questions about how anybody is using it? Point to a customer. Greensboro, yeah. So we're actually working with the Greensboro Planning and Development Department, and their biggest use cases in their field services and recycling and solid waste team, actually. And so they get a lot of questions about permitting for planning for all of this solid waste and commercial services. And so they use us to make sure that each customer gets the same information regardless of how they're communicating with the department. We're also in their planning department. So as you know, Greensboro has tried for a long time to consolidate their planning efforts, and we're a big part of their strategic planning and operationalizing their customer experience.
Raleigh.
Raleigh, yes, Raleigh. So our point of contact, Karen Ray, I don't know if you know her, she's just got moved up to the city manager's office, I think, like this week. So we are in their training and learning team, their planning team, and their permit tech team. So they use us whenever anybody has a question about a permit, how to get a permit, if they need a permit, how to schedule an inspection, navigate that lovely EnerGov portal y'all have. They use our solution to provide the customer service on all of those operations. And we're expanding that contract, and we have a procurement vehicle. So if anybody here from the city of Raleigh is interested, it's just, it's no cost for you to add on to your solution at this point. Any other questions about any of these customers?
Chatham County.
Chatham, yes. So we're in their, sorry, I'm excited about all of them. We're in their county clerk's office and their also development services team. So their county clerk, I mean, Chatham County is a booming county, right, with VinFast and other organizations that are coming in and forcing growth upon like a bootstrapped, handicapped department and municipality. So their county clerk needs to maintain high levels of internal coordination as they grow. And so they use us more for internal communications, make sure that everyone has the most up-to-date processes and training. So then whenever a customer calls in, regardless of which department it is, they have the information they need to make sure that they can be successful in the county. I can do probably one more. And Dublin, Ohio. Yeah, my boy Brad. Dublin, Ohio is a growing suburb city type, so we're also in their planning and development services department. They recently stood up a permitting portal called Acela, and they found that, you know, as their service becomes increasingly digital, they need to communicate with their customer in an accessible, plain language way. And they found that if one staff person was communicating with their customer, it sounded completely different than if another staff person communicated with that same customer, and that resulted in a lot of problems when it came to building a building that, you know, had different interpretation of the code and stuff like that. And so they use us to consistently communicate with the customer each and every time they're faced with that point of communication. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think my biggest ask is if you're with the city here, would love to talk to you, especially if you're in a department that's not development services, to learn more about how y'all do customer service and how we can help you operationalize those strategic initiatives on delivering a good customer experience. Thanks, everybody. Oh, yeah, questions.
Maybe we don't have any.
Whoa.
No, I do. I actually have three. I'm kind of thinking, should I ask all three at once? That'll be question number 4, I guess. I think more important for me is your solution always customized? And then if it is, how long does it take to customize it?
Yeah, so we provide the infrastructure for governments to put in their standard operating procedures. So over our 35 customers, we've built a marketplace of standard operating procedures that follow a pattern of what governments are most likely to need to deliver a good customer service. So our implementation time, we say 0 to power user in 1 week. So they're onboarded, it takes 10 minutes to push the Outlook add into their inbox, and then we have 2 trainings. And we give them a marketplace of customer support information to choose from and processes, and then that becomes their knowledge base. And it's a living, breathing customer support tool, so as your employees find other use cases, they can just add it easily through the portal, and it becomes a part of everybody's toolkit.
Pavani, what's the range of integrations that you have with various software, communication software?
Yeah, so our first integration was with Outlook because we found that that's the tool that everybody has. We just released our Chrome extension, so there's a lot of softwares out there like your public request information softwares, your permit portals where you're leaving similar comments to the customer at various points in your interaction. And so we have offered a similar offering that's available that you can use in any web app that governments use. So to create board docs, I know that's a huge pain point, communicating with your advisory boards, putting together agendas, leaving plan review comments on permit applications, etc. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you so much to all 5 of our awesome startups. Let's give it up one more time for all the pitchers. So as someone who was born and raised in Durham, did school in Chapel Hill, and now lives and works and plays in Raleigh in the region, I have really loved this concept of Triangle Plus and how we can think and act more collaboratively together. And I think startups are a really important ingredient of that. Again, the panel that talked about government sometimes being big and slow, their big takeaway was to partner with organizations that can be more nimble. And oftentimes that is entrepreneurial. entrepreneurs. They will make it happen. Riot is around to facilitate those partnerships if that's interesting to anyone in the room. And I want to thank the City of Raleigh for recognizing the important part that entrepreneurs have in this ecosystem and giving them a big spot on stage today. So thank you so much, City of Raleigh. Now, the fun part where you all get to cast your vote. So if you'll scan this QR code, you can vote on your favorite pitch of the afternoon through the survey tool that we've been using all day today. We're not going to tell you the results just yet, so make sure you put your vote in, and we're about to get an exciting demo from Dell. And then to close us out today, we're going to come back, announce the audience vote winner, and then the judges are going to deliberate and also decide on who is the lucky winner of the $1,000 pitch prize this afternoon. So make sure you grab this code, vote on your favorite out of the 5 startups, and with that, that's all from us this afternoon. I'm going to go deliberate with the judges and hand it back off to Tom Snyder to steer the ship. So thank you guys so much.
All right, thanks. Let's give these startups another round of applause. Fantastic stuff. All right, I'm going to just leave that QR code up there for a few moments later, but I think next on the agenda is to bring our AI forward. So I actually don't know the whole procedure here, but who's driving is... We're just driving from the back. There he is. I see him at the back there. All right, we'll give him a moment to set up. But the goal here is to do a little bit of interaction, as was talked about this morning. So we're going to get the AI up. We're going to have an opportunity to interact, to engage, to see what these virtual assistants and things might start to look like. That'll give us some time for those judges to deliberate. Then we're going to come back after this short section with a little bit of some of the readouts from the activities from earlier today. So if you chose room A and you want to know what happened in room B, we're going to hear a little bit about that back and forth. We're going to announce a winner, and then we're going to have more time to network and to engage and have a little bit of a social. So with that, Bill, I'll have you come back up and lead us. All right, into the AI.
That's right. All right. Can everybody spell AI? Okay, after a long day today, it's probably IA or IE. Let's get out of here. No. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit and have some couple examples of Clara. Those of you saw this morning. Some of the comments that I've heard and seen is, oh my gosh, this is scary. Okay? Well, it really doesn't have to be scary. It is a tool, another tool that you can use to provide information, get information, exchange information. And again, remember, it's an application that you can put the guardrails on. Okay? It's not just going to go out like some of the Chat GPT and you ask this wild question and you get information. Okay? You're going to be able to establish the parameters to protect yourself and protect and add the governance criteria that you need for your organization. One quick example was, I guess it was a week ago or 10 days ago, somebody was asking Clara a joke about a competitor. And she answered it. However, between those 10 days ago and today, that answer no longer exists. Why? A guardrail was put on there so that, no, we don't want to be asking questions about competitors or necessarily any information that would be derogatory, because remember, this person, digital human, Clara, Sophia, Aaron, Adam, whoever it is your brand ambassador, right? So if they're your brand ambassador, you want them to effectively espouse your brand. Positive, complimentary, in the right means of what is the outcome? If the outcome is to provide, like we saw the city of Amarillo, they wanted something that could give them AI assistant to the CIO for services offered throughout the city of Amarillo. And this was in Amarillo was implemented about, about 60, 75 days ago. So it was a joint effort with Dell and the city of Amarillo, utilizing Clara as the base point, and they decided to call their human digital or digital human a different name. Well, that's fine. Call her whatever you want. When you're talking, she asks you what your name is, or you can type your name in. So there is some personalization stuff that you can do. So we'll go through a couple demos. Kyle has Clara's microphone so that we don't get a lot of different odd noises and things, and she starts listening to 4 or 5 people talk. We have a microphone set up for Clara so that Kyle can ask the question into it, or bring it to you if you want to ask the question, and then we'll let Clara to do it. Again, this is a learning process for Clara, a learning process for all of us, and bless you. The challenge is with any AI, if you ask a real long question, it's got to look for more information, right? So you may be expecting a response in a couple seconds. It's a computer, right? Well, no, it's got to say, okay, now how am I going to answer this question? What information do I have? And it's going to come back in a relatively quick time. But the longer the question, the slower it might come back, because there's more information they're going to give you. Okay, just natural language processing. So, Kyle, you want to ask the first question to Clara?
Hey, Clara, what are some of the top use cases for AI and local government municipalities?
Uh-oh, technical difficulty, but not Clara. The computer.
Hi, Raleigh. My name is Clara. I can answer questions or make a recommendation. Is there anything I can help with?
Hey, Clara, what are some of the top use cases for AI and local government municipalities?
So you see the answer is quite long, but she will start it here a second. She's processing it.
Hi, Raleigh. AI has several potential use cases in local government municipalities. Some examples include 1. Smart city management. AI can help optimize energy consumption, traffic management, waste management, and public safety systems. 2. Citizen services. Chatbots powered by AI can assist citizens with inquiries, provide information about services, and automate routine tasks like scheduling appointments or issuing permits. 3. Data analysis. AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of data to identify patterns and trends for better decision-making in areas such as urban planning, social services, or infrastructure development. 4. Predictive maintenance. By leveraging machine learning models on equipment sensors and historical data, municipalities can predict maintenance needs for critical infrastructure like water supply systems or transportation fleets. 5. Public safety enhancement.
Okay, long question, long answer, right? So a lot of information, but the information again is based on what we talked about earlier today, GIGO. Okay, garbage in, garbage out. So the information she brought in was based on the information that's in her databases and system, or if she's integrated to other databases, it'll pull from that database. Now let's talk about something that's very simple, talk about a laptop.
Hey, Clara, I'm a work-from-home user. What laptop would you recommend for me?
Hi, Raleigh. As a work-from-home user, I recommend the new Inspiron 16 laptop. It offers a balance of performance and portability. With its 16-inch touch display, you'll have ample screen real estate for multitasking. The powerful Intel Core i7 processor ensures smooth performance, while the 1 TB SSD provides fast storage for your files. Its sleek design and long battery life make it ideal for remote work.
Again, we see it's integrated. Okay, so what do you want to integrate it to? What other additional information? Here in this selection, it might be maybe you have an internal process for employees to order a computer, and they say, well, what computer am I allowed to have as X person? That computer comes up, boom, you could have an order button there. They order that from the IT department or whatever it may be.
All right, Clara, how do I pay my utility bill in the town of Mooresville?
I apologize for any confusion, but as a product genius for Dell computers, I specialize in providing information and recommendations related to Dell computers and technology. I don't have specific knowledge about utility bill payments in the town of Mooresville or any other locality. For assistance with paying your utility bill in Mooresville, I recommend contacting the local government office or utility provider directly. They will be able to provide you with accurate and up-to-date information on how to pay your utility bill.
Okay, now that's some information just raw in there. Good question, great question. But if it was in your organization, of course, that information would be in your database, right? They would know exactly who to call, or maybe you integrate it to a web page where they can go pay it right then. Okay, how do you want to do it? It's very, very flexible. Again, it is a digital human, okay, artificial intelligence utilizing the Gen AI, okay, generative AI. So it is artificial intelligence. So just remember, generative AI is, yes, a new technology, but it's not AI as a whole. AI has been around for many years. This is just another digital input tool. We have a question in the back. Okay, Kyle will come back in just a minute. So this could be, like I said, any digital human image can be created. Dell is constantly improving this based on their own internal side. We are going with a lot of digital and a lot of automated processes within Dell because we have approximately 120-some thousand salespeople and associates that need information on a regular basis. And you have to have a lot of people to service those, right? So a digital assistant for Dell would answer a lot of internal questions, especially when it comes to self-help IT stuff that we do. Right now, when we have a self-help challenge, we can chat with an IT person. Well, we could chat with Claire, and Claire could give us that information other than getting administrative privileges or something like that, but general processes. I'm sorry, your question.
Claire, what is the opposite of up?
The opposite of up is down.
One more question. What's the healthiest diet to make it to 90?
While I can provide general information on healthy diets, it's important to note that individual health and longevity are influenced by various factors. A balanced diet that includes a variety of nutritious foods is generally recommended for overall well-being. Consider incorporating plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins such as fish or poultry, and healthy fats like those found in nuts or avocados. It's also crucial to stay hydrated and limit processed foods, added sugars, and excessive salt intake. As always, consulting with a healthcare professional or registered dietitian can offer personalized guidance based on your specific needs and goals.
And that's what's going to change over the number of years as we go, as the application developers start developing the code to be able to answer those subjective questions by maybe choice or, number of other options. So we don't know. This being a new technology, it's going to change. It's going to evolve. The unfortunate thing is it's evolving weekly instead of yearly. Question over here.
What is the definition of a virtual power plant, and how can residents in our communities be able to participate in that?
A virtual power plant VPP is a network of decentralized energy resources, such as solar panels, wind turbines, and battery storage systems, that are connected and coordinated to function as a unified power plant. It allows for the aggregation of these distributed energy resources to provide grid services like load balancing or demand response. Residents and communities can participate in VPPs by installing their own renewable energy systems such as rooftop solar panels or utilizing smart home devices that enable demand response capabilities. By connecting these individual resources to a central control system managed by the VPP operator, residents can contribute excess electricity back to the grid or adjust their consumption patterns based on grid needs. This participation helps optimize energy generation and usage while promoting sustainability and resilience within the community.
Again, we're doing a lot of general type questions, so they may not be as specific for you, so there may be a more specific answer that you would like to have, so maybe it's a shorter question, but the main thing is your data is going to drive it. So your data, the guardrails that you put around it are going to protect you from your brand and your customers. Other question?
What Linux laptop would you recommend for a home user, professional home user?
For a professional home user, I recommend the Precision 5550 mobile workstation as an excellent Linux laptop option. It is specifically designed for professionals who require high-performance computing capabilities. With its powerful processors, ample memory and storage options, and dedicated graphics card, it can handle demanding tasks such as software development, data analysis, or graphic design with ease. The Precision series also offers reliable build quality and comprehensive support from Dell to ensure a smooth experience for professional users running Linux operating systems.
Okay, I think we have a question over here first. He's been patiently waiting. So anyway, after today's discussion, the keynote, other discussions, do you understand the difference between artificial intelligence and generative AI, Gen AI? Okay? Most important, because there's going to be a lot of news cycles and a lot of information put out there on Gen AI. Again, unless it applies to you, it's a lot of noise. You have to first understand, even in Gen AI, what is your objective? Customer service, providing information of, what kind of information? How do you get it? Where do you get it from? Question?
Clara, how can AI help the President of the United States and the United States military?
Well, that'd be interesting. Again, do we have politics?
As an AI language model, I can provide general information on how individuals can serve in the United States military to support their country. If you are interested in helping the President of the United States through military service, here are a few steps you can consider. 1. Research, gather information about different branches of the U.S. military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and determine which one aligns with your interests and skills. 2. Contact a recruiter. Reach out to a local recruiter from your chosen branch to discuss eligibility requirements, available roles, and enlistment options. 3. Assess qualifications. The military has specific criteria for physical fitness, education level, medical conditions, and background checks that must be met for.
Again, probably internal guardrail from political type of things. Where does your brand need, how do they need to handle that? So again, don't be afraid of using generative AI, but again, understand what the outcome is. It's no different than any other AI.
But, that's the power of it, right? That we can actually, because I've heard, he's called the godfather of Jeffrey Hinton. He worked at Google. He said that we can, as human beings, can control the rules that we write in our AI systems. So there could be limits, like in this situation. So I can't go to ChatGPT and say, how do I develop a bomb? It won't, So that's the good thing, but the bad thing is that the AI can be weaponized if it gets in the wrong hands, or it's used the other way.
Yeah, AI or digital human AI is no different than the human being making those rash decisions. okay, making the decision to kill somebody, making the decision to steal, making those unique decisions of each individual, well, the AI person is going to be no different, okay? Just remember it's a tool, and as long as you have the right governance to your policies and your organization's requirements, Gen AI should be very well for you. Okay, so don't be afraid of AI, but remember AI has been around for 10 years or longer in doing a lot of good things. So don't think Gen AI is the same thing as AI. Gen AI is a version, so those people that are saying, oh, I'm scared, I'm afraid, well, just remember that AI is out there doing a lot of things today, especially in the healthcare field, okay? Looking at x-rays or MRIs and diagnosing diseases, utilizing Gen AI or using AI itself in providing the information feedback. It's important. It can save your life, all right? And I have a personal testament to that is utilizing medical AI was able to determine a renal carcinoma on my kidney through a back MRI. The AI was able to determine that I had some other anomaly. So with further investigation, they found a anomaly on my kidney. So AI can be very beneficial, okay? It just has to have the right governance, policies, guardrails, and so forth, and it's up to you and the organization to determine that.
Hey, Clara, what are the risks to generative AI?
Generative AI, like any technology, comes with certain risks that need to be considered. Here are a few potential risks associated with generative AI. 1. Bias and discrimination. Generative AI models learn from existing data, which can include biased or discriminatory information. If not carefully monitored and controlled, these biases can be perpetuated and amplified by the generated content. 2. Misinformation and deepfakes. Generative AI has the potential to create convincing fake images, videos, or text that can be used for spreading misinformation or creating deepfake content. 3. Privacy concerns. The use of generative AI may involve collecting and processing personal data. There is a risk of privacy breaches if proper safeguards are not in place to protect sensitive information.
So that's a quick demo. Any other thoughts or questions? We have another question over here. Apologize. And then one over on the left.
Thank you. I'm Subba Reddy from Morrisville. I'm the Smart City Advisory Committee Chair. So I have a quick question. What are the best solutions you would recommend for the mental health treatment for the current generation? And what is your opinion using the meditation and yoga to treat these mental health issues?
That'll be a good test. Long one. She's got to think about it. Let's see if the database has that information. It'll have something. I can guarantee you that.
As a product genius for Dell Computers, I specialize in providing information and recommendations related to Dell technology. While I can't provide specific solutions for mental health treatment or offer personal opinions on meditation and yoga, I can tell you that many individuals find these practices beneficial for their mental well-being. Meditation and yoga have been shown to reduce stress, promote relaxation, improve focus, and enhance overall emotional well-being. They are often used as complementary approaches alongside traditional mental health treatments. However, it's important to note that everyone's needs are unique when it comes to mental health support. For the best solutions regarding mental health treatment for the current generation, I recommend consulting with healthcare professionals such as therapists or psychiatrists who specialize in this field. They can provide
Okay. Go ahead. Question?
So I have a question for you. This is a little bit about the semantics of AI versus machine learning and such. How do we differentiate between the current overarching AI arena from what I feel many people are fearing is the conscious, sort of sentient AI that would be iRobot or Terminator, something like that?
RoboCop, Skynet. a tough question because again, people are looking at AI and they're looking at generative AI being AI today. That's it. This is AI. No, AI has been around. So from their perspective, what is the outcome? How do you provide that comfort? Again, understanding that it's still humans writing the program or the information behind it. So depending on the policies that exist, what guardrails you put in, you just have to utilize those guardrails and information to educate the customer and educate those people. It's going to be tough over the next couple of years because unfortunately a lot of organizations don't know what they don't know about AI yet, okay, and about generative AI. And it's going to be dangerous in some ways. It's going to be very confusing in some ways. It's going to be very counterproductive in some ways. New government policies coming out that say we need to protect those images so that we can validate that image as being true. How do you do that? The government says, well, we'll use watermark technology. Watermark technology can be compromised and the AI can create its own watermark. And so when it gets to the individual, it has a watermark, but is it a true watermark? So is the data correct, even though it says it's correct? So there's going to be a lot of discussions, and already has been, of how do we validate the information from an image or the data. And there's other technologies out there that will provide those guardrails and that protection by looking at an image deeper into pixels and depth of field and other things outside of the watermark. Okay, the watermark is not the all answer, even though it's being stipulated that that's the way the images need to be today, is going to start having to have watermarks. There's got to be other technology because the watermark is already compromised because of AI, its own thing, all right? So how do you protect it? How do you do that deep dive investigation to further validate it? Those are things that are going to continually evolve over the next few years. Maybe a few months, the way things are turning, but I would say a few years because, again, adoption is going to be slow in some arenas. You'll see Clara and other forms of Clara from a digital assistant be integrated a lot faster than more intrusive AI potentially. But remember, this is only one part of, and it's an expansion of deep learning and machine learning, which is also a part of AI. So where is AI being used today? Healthcare, autonomous driving, water sensors and technology to monitor those sensors. AI is used with those sensors in a sensor fusion. Maybe it's a combination of video, or maybe it's just the signals we're getting from multiple sensors. AI can determine and make a more realistic prediction of what is occurring. So AI is being used all of the time for great benefits. And without it, I think we would have more problems in production and manufacturing because we use computer vision in manufacturing all the time. You know, as Coca-Cola or some of these guys fill a bottle going across the line, AI is looking at that and say, okay, did they all get filled, all right, to the top? You know, are there any cracks in the bottles? Okay, AI has to do that because a human can't do it fast enough to, you know, it makes it counterproductive if you're relying on a human to do it, so AI has got to do it. So machine learning or AI, machine learning, putting the algorithms, and then deep learning, learning the algorithms, is the first step before Gen AI. But then again, remember, all day long I've talked about GIGO, all right? Garbage in, garbage out. So if you want an output like this, as you see, what is the output you want? What's the outcome? What are you going to use it for? And what's the validity of the data that you're putting in? If that's all been taken care of, then your output is going to be fine and you're going to meet your outcome. Okay? But remember, we talked all day today, what is the outcome? Why are you doing it? It's no different than putting a video camera in there for safety security. A lot of people just put the camera, okay, we want one at this door, one at that door, you know, one down this hallway, one down that hallway. But you have to ask yourself is, why? Why are you putting that camera there? When you go back to that video recording, what kind of data do you want to see? Do you want to see the color of his shirt or the color of his eyes Or do you want to see just the color of the vehicle, or you want to see the license plate? Those are all different workloads or different fields of view, which may require multiple cameras or a different position of a camera. So just a simple thing, putting a camera up, why? Why are you doing that? Same thing with the data. Why? What's the outcome? Any other question? Yes.
So Jim, I want to, I'm going to try a question here. One of the challenges that I've found, and I've heard others speak of when they're interacting with chatbots and other things, is this kind of difference between kind of guidelines and hard, fast rules. And software tends to follow rules. So I want to ask you a question to see how it reacts to something where I'm at, where I might have a real situation calling and looking for like some human judgment.
Well, I think the AI is going to be based on how you ask the question. So let's do that.
So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Hi, Clara. Last night I got a parking ticket in Raleigh. I was in a lot that was empty of cars and only overstayed by 5 minutes, the timing. Is there anything you can do to help me out?
I'm sorry to hear that you received a As an AI language model, I'm unable to directly intervene or assist with specific parking ticket issues. However, in such cases where you believe there may be grounds for appeal due to extenuating circumstances, it's advisable to follow the proper procedures outlined by the issuing authority. Typically, you can contest a parking ticket by following the instructions provided on the ticket itself or contacting the relevant parking enforcement agency in Raleigh. They will guide you through the process of appealing and provide any necessary forms or documentation required. It's important to act promptly within the designated timeframe specified on your ticket for contesting it.
And again, there's a lot of guardrails that are put in inherently in there to protect the brand. Okay, and that's what Dell's trying to do. I mean, this is a brand ambassador for Dell is how it started. Now, other cities said, oh, wow, it's a digital human assistant. I can use that. So Amarillo, okay, let's see what it does. Now, there's other services and other chatbots and things out there that do that. But I think what Dell's trying to do is trying to put in the governance and policy parameters to educate you on this can be used very effectively and very safe. John?
Hello, Claire. How are you? Claire, I'd like to know what you think the most critical infrastructure is in municipal governments that needs to be protected from a cybersecurity standpoint.
From a cybersecurity standpoint, there are several critical infrastructure components in municipal governments that need protection. Here are some key areas to consider. 1. Network infrastructure. Safeguarding the network infrastructure is crucial as it connects various systems and services within the municipality. This includes firewalls, routers, switches, and other networking equipment. 2. Data centers and servers. Protecting data centers and servers is essential since they store sensitive information such as citizen records, financial data, or operational details. Implementing robust access controls and encryption measures is vital. 3. Communication systems. Securing communication systems like email servers, VoIP systems, or messaging platforms helps prevent unauthorized access or interception of sensitive communications. 4. SCADA systems, supervisory control and data acquisition.
Now, that was a unique answer because that bridged IT and OT, okay, which a lot of people don't know how to have that discussion. And that's kind of what my team is. I consider ourselves bilingual. We talk IT and we talk OT. And that's important to be able to sometimes get to an outcome. Go ahead.
Can you talk about Amarillo for a second? What was that data integration process like on there, and what was the timeline on that?
I do not know on that particular one. I don't know if Kyle or Tiffany know on the kind of the delivery implementation time to get the data put together and implement their digital assistant. Proof of concept first. 6 weeks, okay.
6 weeks. 8 weeks, sorry. Thank you so much. You just saved me. So yeah, the city of Amarillo, they did a proof of concept first. And that is actually what they prepared to test. And what you saw in that video, they were going to secure the funds for that proof of concept. And that's what that board vote was. After that, it took roughly 8 weeks to get the large language model up and running and get Clara customized. So again, there are mannerisms, accents, languages, demeanor. You know, every pixel that you see for her is kind of developed based on client specification. So that for City of Amarillo, of what you saw, took about roughly 8 weeks. And as Jim mentioned, that was implemented about 2 months ago.
Well, not very long, okay? And again, though, the data that was put together there, they've probably been preparing for something, and so the data was accessible, not in siloed locations, which is another important. So it could take an extra 4, 5, 6 weeks, who knows, to get out of the siloed data or get connectivity to the siloed data, which is on different networks and different firewalls, you know, who knows what. So remember, there's other things. Okay?
Hey, Clara, what is the average timeline of deploying an AI resource like yourself into an environment?
As an AI language model, I don't have a physical presence or the ability to be played like a resource in an environment. My purpose is to provide information and assist with generating text-based responses. The deployment of AI resources into specific environments can vary widely depending on the intended use case, complexity of integration, and customization requirements. It typically involves tasks such as data preparation, model training or configuration, testing, and integration with existing systems. The timeline for deploying an AI resource can range from weeks to months, depending on the specific project scope and implementation details involved.
All righty, that is Clara. Part of Dell's generative AI that can be made available to customers and cities, municipal governments, as you've seen with City of Amarillo. We thank you for the opportunity to provide this demo. Thank you for today, and that is it for us.
Two last points of business. First, I'd like to invite Mark Wittenberg, the CIO for the City of Raleigh, and Heather McDougall, who leads the Office of Strategy Innovation, to come up and talk about what they learned in the breakout sessions. And then we've got a really big check to bring up to the stage. So Heather's in the back. Come on up, Mark. We'll let you go first.
I was going to say, you invite us up to the stage, and Heather's like heading the other direction. I don't know.
I'm just getting the other mic.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, first of all, great pitches, and what a great day. It's been a lot of fun. And I know that you all can't, we can't clone ourselves yet. AI can do a lot, but we can't clone. So we thought we'd just do a recap of what we learned during today's sessions, right?
Yep, that sounds good. And just to highlight, so it was 2021 when last time we all were here together. So this has been particularly nice to gather everybody together.
Kind of a post-pandemic like celebration, right?
Yeah.
Is it fun to be together? Woo woo. Yeah. So one of the first sessions, so I was A group, which was in the A room, and John, that was brilliant, you know, because that could have been. You did something right, because it's a good thing you didn't cross that, because that would have been just confusing. But one of the themes that I kept hearing was just around communication and collaboration. And so that was one of the big nuggets that I took away, is that to build trust in these projects, that we have to communicate. But I think part of that was the panel talked about communicating things slowly. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because you think about this as a moving technology and moving so quickly. So it was kind of interesting to hear this thought of, we need to make sure everybody has that buy-in, and that if we move too quickly, we may destroy that trust that we have at the community. We need to make sure that we're communicating, we're doing it often, we're doing it slowly, and that we're getting that buy-in.
Absolutely. I think in my sessions as well, trust was a big theme. And I think, again, what our region does really well is we partner, right? We have those foundations already. So when we reach out to each other, that trust is already there.
I think another kind of interesting one, and when you think about it, it's like, okay, just this expectation of private versus public sector. And there was this thought that in the public sector that we really have to have the community's best interest at heart. And that for the private sector, that as you're developing these tools, is to have that mindset as well. And so just don't be thinking about how quickly can I get to market, but think about more of the heart behind this and why we're doing it.
And I'd like to add in, from some of my panels, they really brought in that connection of the community. And I think for next year, that should be a call that we have, is to bring more community organizations to this conference and make sure that we are doing the necessary steps to empower and connect them.
Another one I heard was just cybersecurity, and I thought it was kind of a funny story that was told in one of the sessions about like giving an Alexa to the grandparents, and there's a default password, and how that responsibility now lies with the consumer. And a lot of the consumers don't know that they have to reset these. And so as we start to develop this and as we start to think about cybersecurity at that foundation, is that we need to take that personal responsibility as we're deploying the technology and not push that out to the consumer or to our community.
Right. And in the sustainability panel, they really talked about that personal responsibility of our citizens, right? And what we can do to really engage our citizens in this new technology and let them be partners in it, right? And Raleigh had a really nice example of having the highest number of citizens with these little machines actually going out and sensing heat. So the community does want to partner with us. They want to be a part of that solution. So let's find more opportunities for them to participate with us.
I love that Raleigh example, but I'm going to call out Morrisville because they had the Smart Cities dashboard, and I thought that was just a tremendous idea to show like where they're heading with the technology, where they're heading, and what they have, those capabilities. An example they gave was just a simple one, is a tennis court or a park service available, and so you can check that before you get that instead of just waiting for, you know, that pickup game, right?
Yep.
Or pickleball. Yes, that pickleball pickup game.
Good. And I want to call out Wake. So Wake County is about to engage in an entire digital equity plan, right? And for the other cities in the county, that's really helpful to us, right? We shouldn't each be doing our own separate plan. We should be sharing resources. And so wanted to really give them a shout out for the work that they're doing.
I think that's a good segue into another thing I heard was it really starts with the people. So often we put the technology first, and especially when we think about smart cities. And so as we're starting to deploy those technologies, we really need to think of that from a human-centered design, and then what exact value are we giving the community instead of just starting with the technology and then figuring out how we can apply it to the people.
And I do think that that's what this conference really is about, is for us to come together and think about those large challenges. Dream big was a theme of both of the panels today. And that challenge to each of us, right? What is our contribution to make those dreams come true and for us to work together collaboratively? So I think as part of the group that's been on these calls for this conference, it's just been really wonderful to have all of the towns and county and cities represented as these genuine partners who do want to come together and to think big.
And I think that's thinking big and getting the partnerships together. It also drives the economy, right? Because it starts to drive innovation, and it starts to drive technology, and starts to drive towards those people-centric solutions. And that's an economic driver. It brings jobs here, brings innovation here, and it just, again, connects us as that community.
Absolutely. And the awards. So they brought about the awards, and the usual response was, which one? Right? We could just kind of spend probably 30 minutes going over all of the awards and accolades that this region is receiving. But there's a reason, right? It's because of the tremendous talent. It's because of the tremendous partnerships. And we're just getting started.
I think the last thing I got is a great presentation about AI. But again, I think it's that cautious, go slow, make sure we have people involved with that, and that we're very thoughtful as we apply that. That's all I got.
That's all I got. But we're just thankful for you all to spend your day here. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. All right.
All right. Thank you, Mark and Heather. I'm back with the distinct honor to announce our winners from the Riot Reverse Pitch competition. We heard from 5 awesome startups, and as a reminder, we had an audience vote to see who was the favorite in the room today. And then our judges deliberated, and they have selected the winner of our $1,000 pitch prize this afternoon. So first up with the audience vote, it was a pretty tight race. It was fun to watch the bars go up and down, but there was one prevailing company, and that was TELUS. So Carl Left, please come on up. Air quality for all. All right, while Carl joins us, finally, drum roll, maybe? What? All right, the judges actually had a unanimous decision that was quite quick, and I want to congratulate Jess Heiselman with Throne, so come on up. And Jess gets the big check. So congratulations. Very nice. Good. All right, we're going to do a quick photo op.
Hey, Clara, do you agree with the judges?
Thank you so much. Very nice job to you both. Yeah, I think this is a testament that, you've won over lots of folks in the room here, and the judges, of course, believe that you've got a really compelling and sustainable business. So, yeah, congrats. Thank you both for being here.
All right. I'm going to ask John Holden to come up and give some closing remarks. While he walks up to the stage, I'll give a couple myself. I'm passionate about this collaboration, and today's event really was a collaboration. So thank you again to the IT team, to Beth, to Bill, to the communications team, all the folks in the City of Raleigh for helping to put this together. Thanks to Lauren and Jen and other folks on our team. Thanks for everybody for being here today, for being here for what's coming up next. Has anybody heard about the 2 antennas that got married? I mean, I got to go to the ceremony. It was all right. But the reception, that's what's coming right after this guy, John Holden.
Thanks, Tom. So I promised some of you something, so I'm working on it. No, I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank our sponsors again. I'm not going to read them because I'll probably forget someone. But thank you to everyone and the people who came and put a booth out. I want to just mention a couple things. First off, this is a great start for something. We're restart, if you will. And I look forward to helping it all come together with all of your help and others. I want to remind people that one of our partners here, Smart Cities Connect, will be hosting their national, I would say international. They told me to say national, but there are international companies and people that come to this thing next May here in Raleigh, in this building. They will take over the whole building, I believe, because there's thousands of people that will come to this. I hope you will all be there. We will play a role in it. We will have a role to share what we've done between now and then at that conference. So we got to get to work, right? I might take tomorrow off, but so, I just have a few comments. I think I like Jim's point early on. What's the outcome, right? And I encourage us to think about that outcome both in, as Heather would say, big ideas, but also the KISS method. What we do as a region, an outcome. What can we do to keep it simple, there's another S after that. But to do something together across the region, whether we figure out how to, here's one, the pickleball thing in Mooresville. I've been asked by someone in our community about, how do we know when the pickleball court's full? Why don't we do that as a region? Why don't we have an app or a program that lets people who want to go to pickleball look where the pickleball courts are open or where they're less crowded in the region, not just in Mooresville, not just in Raleigh, not just in Cary, not just in Durham. I mean, maybe that's not real simple, but it's an example. So let's look at the outcome, as Jim said. We will talk about shared vision, which is another key point today. And as Heather and Mark said, there's a certain amount of trust that is built in a region in collaboration between communities and businesses. I think that exists here. I think we can continue to build that. How do we build it? We build it through communication, and that means getting together and talking about these things. And finally, well, not finally, but a basis of all that is data security, data governance, and data privacy. And we have to lay that foundation down before we do any of this work across the region. So there are a lot of smart people, all of you in this room, that know how to do those things. I want to help pull those things together. So the next steps, the regional planning committee that helped organize the panels and everything and had a lot of input to this, we are meeting in early December. We will take the information from the survey results, which you can still fill out, I believe. And there were index cards if people filled it out. Your input, so we can determine what are the next things. What are one or two outcomes that we can target in the next 6, 12, 18 months to work out as a region. And so we will drive towards those. I want to thank you all. Give yourselves a big round of applause for coming. I know it's been I did pretty good. I managed to call the right people. The food and bars will open at 4:30 as opposed to 5. So please hang around if you can, chat with each other, see the vendors, the booths, and I look forward to working with all of you as we move forward. Thank you very much.